Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your June 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps this channel out so much. It lets YouTube bring it to other people, which is amazing, and it makes me unbelievably happy. So thank you so much for doing so. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Virgo. June 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. June 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, okay. These four, fantastic. Virgo. June 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show us clearly. Guide this reading and show us clearly, angels. Virgo. June 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. I love how your cards are just falling out. It's like, I'm here. This is what needs to be seen. That's going to be a lot of what this time is like for us, Virgo. Virgo. June 1st to the 15th, 2021, Virgo. Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. Think of the spread as a tree. You have your roots and you have your branches right here. The left-hand side is the inner self. The middle, the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So at our root, we have the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Empress. In our inner self, we have the Chariot, which is which is Cancer energy, time frame June 21st to July 22nd, and the Nine of Cups. A blessing that's coming from a Cancer that isn't easily seen, or a blessing that's coming from the heart and the connection between the subconscious and the conscious that isn't easily seen, but yet other people are going to be able to see it much more profoundly within us. Then we have the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Knight of Wands. This is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Very strong emotions, kind of based off of anger and frustration if we have a link to Leo. And that's going to be if we're born on the cusp with Leo or where Leo falls within our chart, because there's something here about things not being fair, and that's one thing that a Leo cannot stand. Then we have the Five of Cups, and we have the King of Cups. This is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, so it's amplifying the Cancer energy right here. The Knight of Swords at our root is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and also the Queen of Swords. Okay. If we're born on the cusp with Libra, this is going to be coming through really quite intensely. It's all focusing around things needing to be balanced, needing to be fair, needing to move us forward. Now let's see what the chakra energy is for this time. Virgo, June 1st to 15th, 2021, Virgo. Virgo, June 1st to 15th, 2021, Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. We have inspiration. This is the sacral chakra, and we're going to find ourselves inspired during this time, but also inspired to move away from a lot of the blockages that have been holding us back. Doubts, fears, angers, negativity, because the sacral chakra is where we hold a lot of negative energy from this life and from past lives. So that's going to be something that's very powerful and very intense for us. There's a new dawn that's coming, and it has to do around our creative energy, it has to do around our sexual energy, and it's like I'm stepping into a new world, a new sense of power, a new understanding of self and what I desire. Now, at our root during this time, our mind is playing a very, very powerful role. This is, again, air sign energy, but this is a sense of the knight protecting the queen. There's something that we don't want shown to the rest of the world. There's some knowledge, understanding that we are protecting within ourselves. We're slaying the dragons, the doubt bringers, the hoarders of what we feel is most important in our lives. We're also cutting through a lot of poison, and we're ascending. There's a sense of the vibrational energy that we start with is not going to be the vibrational energy that we end with. And if we're lucky, as most of us Virgos will be, there's going to be a sense of greater power, greater understanding, and greater growth here. The swords don't mess around, though. The swords are the only weapon within the tarot. So at this time, we're going to feel like I put in the time, I put in the effort, these are my skills, these are what I want, this is the payoff that should be happening. This isn't going to be a time where we mess around. This is going to be much more logic-based, but this is also going to be much more cause and effect based. The Queen of Swords is crowned with the butterflies. So there is something that is changing. There is something that is coming forward. Our mind is crowned with change because the Queen of Swords, as the warrior queen, she doesn't see things as staying still. She doesn't appreciate stagnation. And this is going to be a time where we don't appreciate stagnation at all. We want to be able to move. We want to be able to explore. We want to be able to gain an understanding. And there is something stagnant emotionally that's going to be coming to the forefront. Now, the Nine of Wands is really telling us here, don't listen to everybody else. The whole world has their opinions, has their opinions, has the way that we should be living our lives, has the way that we should be doing things. And at this time, it's like, no, I'm not letting the world pull me down, drag me down. I'm not letting other people dictate what is important to me. The battles that we have been facing, a lot of them are because we have been listening to the wrong people. The Queen of Swords and the King and the Knight of Swords are going to be pulling that out. It's like, what is the knowledge that I need to follow? What is intrinsic to my beliefs, to my desires, to where I want to be within my life? How am I building? How am I becoming? What is opening up the door to me and for me? And with the Nine of Wands, it's not listening to everybody else, but it's seeking our own counsel, and also the counsel of those who deeply love us, deeply care for us, are deeply connected to us. But it's been a long battle, and we have to give ourselves recognition and honor for going through that battle and for being able to still be standing. The Empress is, there's something that we're bringing forward. We're birthing forward into the world. There's some sort of creativity, inspiration, understanding that's coming. The heavens are crowning us. So this is a time where inspiration, desires, wishes are on the forefront of our mind. And there's something beautiful that we're bringing in. The waters start to come and start to bring in prosperity around us and prosperity for what we desire. There's something here that we need to create. If we ignore this creative aspect of ourselves, we're going to feel restless, upset, and out of balance. During this time, feeling out of balance is something that we instinctually rebel against. And it's going to be something that comes in very powerfully for us. This sense of, am I heading in the right direction? Am I balanced? Am I in harmony with myself? Do I know what I desire? Do I know what I want? The 7 of the major arcana, which is the Chariot, this is the subconscious and the conscious needing to work together. This is us needing to be fierce within our emotions and to say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is where I'm headed. But there's going to be something subconsciously here that keeps us from seeing the beauty. There's also a sense of a Cancer really helping us out during this time. I'm just seeing that so profoundly, but we're not seeing the beauty of what their assistance is, because part of our mind, our conscious or our subconscious, isn't looking at what they're doing for us. So this is going to be a time where we kind of need to step back, where we need to embrace our blessings more, where we need to look at what our heart desires, what our heart needs, and what it is that is success. What is the definition of success for us, our joys and our coming togethers. Because there is a sense of a wish being granted, and it's part of the wish that crowns us as we are creating and cultivating. But again, it's going to be so easy for everybody else to see this, and it's going to be rather difficult for us to see it ourselves. Emotionally, things need to be in balance. Things need to be harmonized. Things need to be fair. We're tired of the giving and giving and giving, or taking and taking and taking, and not things being able to harmonize themselves. This is very much a sense of, I need harmony, I need understanding, I need brilliance within my world. And as I need this, as I desire this, as I see this, I start to see me more honestly, more openly. I start to see what is fair and what isn't fair. And I start to embrace what I desire, what I want, what I need, and what I long for within my life. This is also here something that we wish for. Now, the Cancer time frame starts June 21st. Something that we wish for is coming around this time frame, but we have to have ourselves in balance in order to take it on and in order to take it in. That balance is something that's very hard for us. We're going to feel like if I organize things to like the umpteenth millionth degree, if I have everything in binders and labeled and, everything just set out so pristinely, then it'll come. That's not going to be the case. And then we're going to get mad. We just are. Tempers are going to rise. There's going to be a sense of, this is what I'm fighting for. If I'm not fighting for it, then it'll never get here. Well, sometimes, yes, we do have to fight for things, most definitely. But if we step back and emotionally we say, okay, what do I need? What do I want? What is it that is my passion, is my desire, is my hope, and is my dream? And how does that move me forward? And we take the anger out of it. We're going to be so much more successful. Because there's fierceness here. We have the boar. The boar in a lot of places was just the fiercest animal you would ever see, especially in the Celtic islands. All right. So here there's very much a sense of, this is fierceness, this is intensity, and I'm having this fierce intensity on my side. I'm not unleashing it so that it creates havoc, because that's what's going to happen if emotionally we let our temper just come out the way that we want to, and we really, really want to. It's kind of like, let the world burn, and I'll figure out what happens at the end. And that's not going to be where we want to be. We want to be able to turn inward. We want to be able to see the light that guides us, that leads us. As represented by the Hermit, this is intrinsically important for us. And to step back instead of stepping into the fray of things. And that's going to be kind of what we're being warned against at our roots. Don't step into the fray of what everybody thinks, of what everybody wants to be right, of, one opinion or the other. It's like, look at what is desired, look at what is needed. Be the warrior of your existence. Stand your ground, know your truth. And that sounds contradictory. That sounds contradictory to not engaging into battle when it says be the warrior. But it's that old saying, better to be a soldier in a garden than a gardener in a war. So during this time, it's like, I know how to defend myself. I know what I stand for. I know what I need. But I'm not just going to be going into battle after battle after battle, because it's not going to bring me the place that I want to be. It's actually going to drain me. And it's going to make things more unfair. And it leads us to our public arena. Change our mind, change our life. The Two of Cups stands behind us. But we're busy looking at all the heartbreak, all the pain, all the disappointment, all the despair. And that's something that we need to be mindful of during this time, is that we change the way we look at things. We change the blessing and the power that starts coming in. And sometimes we have to go really deep, and we have to say, why? Why is this darkness around me? Why is this cloud around me? Why can't I see the happiness? Now, at times, there are going to be really logical explanations for it. Life is hard. things aren't moving forward the way that I want them to. It's a struggle. It's a heartbreak. It's a pain. Yes. But not living in that struggle and heartbreak and pain, being able to look at beauty and wonder and success and the opening of the heart, the unity and the love that comes in. That's going to be what changes us. That's going to be what raises our energy vibration and says, I'm not going to be down here in the sludge of it all. Because our world can very easily pull us into the sludge, and it's more than happy when we get there. There's more that's coming. And we start to change our mind, and it starts to change our life. We start to change what's intrinsically important. We start to change what we desire and want and need, and what we call happiness. Is it the accumulation of more things, or is it the stepping back and saying, all right, I have enough. Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I desire? Is it keeping up with the Joneses or the Kardashians, or is it realizing these are unrealistic expectations that will never be met and are always continuing to have me in the cycle of wanting more and more and more and feeling worse and worse and worse about my life? It moves us to the King of Cups. The King of Cups knows I only rule myself, period, end of discussion. I can only rule myself, I can only be inspired by myself, and I can only move myself forward. And that is a very powerful realization. I can't have any control over anybody else's emotions. The only emotions I have control over are my own. And sometimes, yes, we're pushed to our limits. Sometimes, yes, it gets to be so much, and it gets to be too much. That's why having a support system is intrinsically important to us as human beings. We have this epidemic of loneliness and sorrow in our world. And we want to be told, and we are being told that, if you accumulate more, you'll be happier. No, that's not true. If we have more meaningful connections, which the state of the world can make it a bit hard, but if we have more meaningful connections, if we look at what is deeply important to us, if we start to listen to our hearts and what our hearts are screaming for, not what the rest of the world is telling us that we want, we start to create something that is extraordinary, and we start to fight for that. Fight for that extraordinary beauty to come forward and be a part of our lives. And it becomes liberating. It just does. Show me the beauty that Virgo needs to see. Show me the beauty that Virgo needs to see. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. It's the moon. It's calling ourselves out for the fear and the doubt and the darkness and the despair. But it's also seeing the beauty and the insight and the greater understandings. It's embracing the subtlety. It's embracing the quiet. And it's seeing where that brings us. The moon can be just breathtaking. And it's embracing the breathtakingness that happens in the quiet moments, that happens in the peaceful moments, that happens when the world goes calm. And it's also not letting fear and worry and doubt overshadow everything. Because what we're going to see here is that as we start to look at the blessings, we'll start to think, when is this going to fall apart? When is the next shoe going to drop? How am I going to mess this up? And it's stopping ourselves and saying, that's fear coming in. Why is this fear stealing away my joy? What is the balance that Virgo needs? What is the balance that Virgo needs? What is the balance that Virgo needs? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. The balance that we need is to know that there's more before us than we realize. We're feeling trapped. We're feeling overwhelmed. And the way that we're going to deal with that is wanting to break out, wanting to take control by force. And what we're going to see here is that realizing that we hold possibilities in our hands, realizing that we're opening up our eyes and opening up our understanding to so much more than we realized becomes a huge part of who we are and a huge part of where we need to be. Not thinking that this cycle of things being unfair, this cycle of things being unbalanced will be it always, but seeing an endpoint, because we're creating that endpoint. We're saying enough is enough. This is where I need to be. This is what I long for. This is what I'm walking towards. It's embracing an ending, but it's also embracing new pathways and new ideas. What is it that Virgo needs to turn away from? What is it that Virgo needs to turn away from? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. The Queen of Wands. We need to turn away at times from our own passion and ambition, which sounds like a silly thing to say that we need to turn away from. But what we're going to look at is with our passion and ambition, not the way that we're moving forward, not the success that we're having, but the doubts and the fears and the negativity and the angers and the upsets. And this is going to be a time where we need to start looking at the little bit of magic within us, the little bit of greater understanding, greater insight, sparks, creativity that moves us forward. That's going to be our inspiration. That's really going to come powerfully from the sacral chakra. And this starts to give us a new understanding of what we want, of where we're headed, and where it is that we really want to be. And during this time, we need to be seen rather than just living behind the scenes. So that's going to be important too, to have our voice heard, to have ourselves seen. And then finally, what is it that Virgo is creating? What is it that Virgo is creating? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh, there we go. So we have the Hierophant, the Hangman, and the Queen of Swords. The Hierophant is Taurus energy, right? So we have this sense of earth sign energy coming forward, but it's a stubbornness and it's also a sensuality. We tend to forget that with Virgo, with Taurus, that they're also astoundingly sensitive individuals. So being able to embrace that sensitivity, being able to say, but this is me. Because remember, the Hierophant representing the Pope, in medieval times, that was the power of the land. The Pope told emperors what to do. The Pope changed the tide of things. And so here we have the intrinsic power of ourselves coming forward. We need to be able to see it. We need to be able to look at what we want. And that's what we're bringing forward into the world, who we truly are and the power of us. The Hangman, we see things differently. We don't see things the same way as everybody else. Is that bad? No. We start to become a warrior of who we are, which is what this world makes us. If we are too agreeable, if we are too, meek, the world stomples all over us and says, you're welcome. This is a time where we look at ourselves and we say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm heading for. I'm cutting through the doubts and the fears. I'm embracing the fierceness of myself, not the temper. There's a difference. There's a difference between people who are powerful, who know their own strength, who know their own power, and people who have a bad temper and just let it go off leash, right? So here, that's what we're going to be looking at. It's how to be powerful, how to radiate that power within ourselves and not let ourselves become brutes or bullies. The subconscious, let's go to the energy that we need to be mindful of. What is the energy that Virgo needs to be mindful of? June 1st to the 15th, 2021 Virgo. What is the energy that Virgo needs to be mindful of? June 1st to 15th, 2021 Virgo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is their new news. So this is Capricorn energy, yes, but this is also a sense of not thinking of the consequences, just getting very caught up in the actions, and not saying there would be consequences to them. And so here you have, looks very much like satiated lovers, but you have the chaos that comes from the lovemaking, from their primal desires. And so during this time, that's what we're going to have. We're going to need to be mindful of the consequences to primal actions, to base actions, okay? It leads us to our subconscious chakra message, which is flexibility. Again, the sacral chakra coming up, being able to be flexible with our dreams and our desires, also being able to be flexible with our hurts and our pains, being able to embrace them and being able to not be defined by them. Both our blessings and our sorrows. Because in the Kipling poem If, it says to treat those two imposters just the same. The people praising us and the people putting us down. And it's like, where do I stand within me? And how do I stand within me? It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. We need to be mindful of getting out of our own way. This is us represented, the Hermit is us represented, Virgo, in the major arcana. And so we have to be mindful of not getting in our own way, of not overthinking, overanalyzing, just expecting too much, expecting too little. Not getting in our own way is going to be intrinsically important. It moves us to our subconscious public arena message. And that's the Six of Cups. A lot of heartbreak and pain that we have carried from childhood is coming forward. But there's also the brilliance of remembering of when we were carefree and when life wasn't so complicated. So we're going to have both coming into play. One's going to say, I want a simpler time, and the other is going to say, but don't you remember that pain? Don't you remember that hurt? So subconsciously, we have to find the balance within our public world, not to be repeating pains that we are simply familiar with, which is what we do when we find something that we're like, oh, this just feels right. A lot of times, it's like, okay, this is where my scar is. So this is what feels right. And so to be opened with ourselves, to embrace the unity of healing, it's really saying, does this feel right because it's perpetuating a wound? Or does this feel right because it's opening me up to the expression that I long for and I desire, and that makes me feel free like I did when I was young? It moves us to our subconscious emotional message, and that is temperance. This is Sagittarius energy. This is a sense of balance, harmony, which emotionally, that's what we're feeling like we're lacking. We're lacking that balance. So subconsciously, we're going to be seeking out that balance and see where the subconscious guides you to. It's kind of like when you're not feeling well, or when you're looking for something and your subconscious says, well, eat this food, and maybe it'll make you feel better. And then it starts to, eat this food, I have a craving for it, and it makes you feel better. It's not a craving for junk food or anything like that, but it can be a craving. I've had one for oatmeal, and I'm like, oh, I just really want a good bowl of oatmeal filled with berries. And that has made me feel so much better. So listen to the balance that comes in, that spirit is guiding us towards. Our subconscious inner self is the Four of Cups. Subconsciously, there's a blessing coming in. It doesn't feel like a blessing, it feels like extra work. And we're not looking at it the way that we should be, because it's going to be moving us towards something better than we imagined. And our subconscious message for this whole entire time, for our rooted self, oh goodness, is the Two of Swords. Paths are opening up that we didn't think of. We didn't think they could be, but they are. And now we're going to start to see a road that we wanted to walk, we thought of walking, but we didn't know it existed. And so our hearts just felt hollow and empty. We just felt like we had to exist a certain way. But now it's time to open up the door to what we want, what we need, and what we desire, the path forward that is right for us, but that we hadn't seen. All right, Virgo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo.